What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about How High. So 420, like I said in my last video, 420 is right around the corner. So I thought I would check out some stoner movies, and the stoner movie that I chose to check out for this video is, of course, How High. When I say check out, it sounds like I have not seen this. I have seen How High. I've seen it countless times. This is one of my favorite stoner movies. This would be on my stoner movie Mount Rushmore. It's top tier. In my opinion, this movie is a classic. So yeah, I've seen this movie a lot, and yeah, upon rewatch, I think it's still like just a very good movie. I think it's still a classic. So there you go. But anyways, jumping into the plot summary, a lot of people are probably familiar with this movie, so you all probably already know. But hey, I gotta give my obligatory plot summary. I gotta fill out the runtime of this video so I can get ads halfway through. I gotta make the video 20 minutes long so I can get this guap from ad revenue. I'm just joking. I don't even make money from this. I just like talking to myself. I just like talking to a camera. I don't know. That's just what I do. So anyways, in terms of a plot summary, the movie centers around these two friends, Silas and Jamal, played by Method Man and Redman, of course. And basically, they smoke the ashes of their dead friend, and their dead friend comes to them in the form of a ghost, and he helps them with their college entrance exams, which are called THCs, which is hilarious, instead of like SAT or ACT. So that's great. So they smoke their friend's ashes. He comes to them in the form of a ghost. He's helping them with their THCs. They get perfect scores. So they get, like every college wants them. And they end up going to Harvard. And it's like a fish out of water scenario where they're out of place because everyone there is like so uptight and proper, and they're just they're like a little bit more loosey goosey. They're a little bit crazier. So basically, once they get there, they're having a little bit of static with some of the other people. Like the dean absolutely hates them. There's this one guy, Bart, that is not messing with them, and basically like Silas is trying to get with Bart's girl. It's like a whole situation. But anyways, yeah, they're kind of having some static with people once they get to Harvard. But initially they're doing well for the most part, because they can still smoke their magic weed, have their ghost friend come to them and give them the answers. But later on in the movie, this one guy who's like this like narc guy, I think I forgot what he is, but he's just like a tattletale. But then he like smokes their stash and he just becomes like insane, and he just like walks around in a robe, and he just like he can't handle his shit basically. But anyways, that guy smokes up all their magic weed, so they're like, what the heck? We actually have to like rely on our actual abilities, and we gotta try hard now. We gotta study. So yeah, like then they have to do well on this botany project to get a good grade so they don't get kicked out, because basically once they run out of their stash, they're on like academic probation, and they gotta like basically Silas has to like just absolutely kill it with this project, this botany project, so that he can get an A, and so that him and Jamal can stay in school. Because like they don't want to let their family down and stuff. They're thinking like, man, like I can't be going back live with my mom and like be like a total failure. It's like I got this great opportunity. So yeah, they're just trying to not get kicked out of school towards the end. So that is the basic plot summary. The first point that I want to touch on is, I'm telling you what, like when Silas and Jamal meet, I feel like it's like such an iconic moment, and I feel like it's so relatable. So how they meet is like they're in the parking lot, they're about to take their THCs, and both of them are trying to smoke before. So I forgot who lost what, but like one of the guys lost their blunt wrap, and the other guy lost their weed. So then they just like kind of like lock eyes. That's like pause, like not like that, but like they just kind of like look at each other, and they're like, it's like, hey, you got weed? It's like, you got a rap? And then they just like smoke and they instantly become buddies. I thought that was such an iconic meetup, and I feel like that's like, I feel like that's relatable because, you know, I've said this in other videos where I'm talking about stoner movies. I don't smoke anymore. It makes me like paranoid now, but you know, when I was in high school and like a couple years after high school, I would, you know, I would dibble dabble. I would smoke a little bit here and there. And then, I mean, when I was like 19, I would smoke a lot. I was like smoking every day for a minute there. That was probably a little too much, but like I would just be like waking and baking, and like I don't even know how I did that. Like looking back, like if I like now I like weed doesn't agree with me. I just it's like, you know, it's like when you can like you it's like when you're younger you could just eat cheese all day. You could just eat pizza and like grilled cheese sandwiches, and then like later you're like, you know what, this upsets my stomach. That's how it is with like weed with me now. Like I used to love it, and then now I'm just like, this doesn't agree with me. I can't do it. But anyways, like when I used to smoke back in the day, like during that time, during that, you know, time period of my life or whatever, I feel like I would always just randomly link up with people because of smoking, and then we would become friends. Like we would have, we wouldn't like have like maybe the most mutual friends or the most mutual interests or activities like initially, but well, yeah, we would have, yeah, because if we were gonna become homies, yeah, we would have mutual interests. But basically, like I would just meet so many people just smoking. It's like, oh, you trying to match? Oh, do you wanna? Yeah, it's like, hey, like, oh, come to whoever's house, or come here. We're gonna go, you know, smoke, blah blah blah. And like, I feel like, especially I think senior year, I think some of my buddies that I was hanging around senior year, I met just because we were like smoking a couple times at first, and like a little bit later, like the year after high school, like I met buddies just because like smoking. Initially, we were just like kind of chilling, smoking, and then it's like, oh, like we're like I mess with you, like you're cool to hang out with, so let's, you know, continue hanging out and do other stuff, you know. So I think that scene's iconic. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like perfect how like, you know, one guy loses one thing, one guy loses the other thing. It's like the perfect storm. It's like, I got the blunt wrap, you got the weed, let's go. It's like the perfect opportunity. It's like we need to help each other out, and it's like, oh, we're pretty similar guys, you know. It was like the perfect meetup. And then they're like hotbox in the car. It was just like, the imagery was great. But yeah, like I said, it's just super relatable. I feel like that's something about smoking that's cool, is like, yeah, it does kind of connect people. Like a lot of people will just smoke and just like they'll smoke with someone that they like initially wouldn't be hanging out with, and then they're just like, oh, this person's, you know, the coolest person ever. Like, are we best friends now? So I really like that. Another thing that I liked is, okay, so when I was watching the movie this time, I was thinking like, man, Silas and Jamal are kind of like pretty harsh to their roommates. Like I thought it was funny most of the time, like especially when the one guy he's got like the head cast going on with like all the brackets and whatnot, and then Silas like screws the thing really hard into his head, and then he just says, go on timeout, go to the corner. I don't know if he said go to the corner, but he's like, go on timeout, go to your room. Like that, like it was funny when they were just messing with these guys. And then yeah, like Silas would do all his botany experiments on the one guy, and the guy's like just projectile vomiting everywhere, like, and then they have him do all their dirty work, like they have like the guy, they're like, come with us and dig up this grave, and it's like, of course they're not going to drag the body, so it's like, yeah, let's get this guy to drag the body. Like they treat these guys like shit. They have them do their dirty work, and then it was like, I was kind of weird. It was kind of weird to me. Like I didn't understand the dynamic. I'm like, you know what? These guys they're a little, you know, nerdy. They're a little bit like maybe like corny, but I'm like, they're not bad guys. I'm like, they're, you know, they mean well, and they're nice. I'm like, and they're not like, you know, they don't like tattle on Silas and Jamal. I'm like, why are Silas and Jamal so harsh on these guys? And but then like later on, when like Silas and Jamal hook those guys up with the women of the night and like get them laid, like that like scene kind of, I don't know, I really like it because it showed that they do care about them. But it's like when you're like high school, college age, like a lot of people, a lot of friends have that dynamic where it's like you're kind of hazing your buddy, you're kind of giving, like they kind of give him the tough love because the one guy, he's trying to be in this fraternity and they make him do all this, you know, crazy stuff, and he's always like, Silas is always like, why are you doing that? Like that's dumb. Like why? Like you're making a fool of yourself. You're putting yourself in danger. Like why are you doing that? Like it doesn't initially seem like it's like a tough love thing, but I don't know. Like just that one scene where, you know, Silas and Jamal hook those guys up with the ladies. Like it shows that they really do care about them, and I like that because it's like, you know, other than like when Silas and Jamal are hazing those guys, which is funny. It's not, you know, like super over the top, but like other than that, like they're super likable guys. So like if they didn't add that one scene in where it's like, you know, it shows them helping these guys out, it would kind of detract from like their likability, which I would not like because I really like, you know, the two leads in this. So I don't know. I was kind of thinking about that scene a lot, and that was like a nice little subtle touch that showed, you know, that these guys, you know, care about their buddies, you know, even though their buddies are like a little bit goofy, but they mean well. So there you go. Moving on, you got to talk about Baby Powder. I mean, Mike Epps as Baby Powder, he steals the show. He's not, okay, Mike Epps is not in this movie that much, but he's like one of the most memorable, iconic characters. I mean, every single line that comes out of his mouth is just, it's gold. And like I don't know if this is true. I probably should have done more research, but like a lot of the stuff that Mike Epps does in this movie, it seems like it was ad-libbed. Like he just kind of, you know, he was just, it wasn't like written dialogue. Like he was just kind of riffing. He was just kind of vibing, and they're like, oh, that's great, let's just leave that in, because he's like talking so quick and he's just saying like all this random stuff, and it just like worked. And I'm like, was that written, or like is this just did they just like turn the camera on, like they just said action and Mike Epps just like goes, like that's the vibe I got. But his character was like absolutely hilarious. He would you know, he would just, that was his whole thing. He's called Baby Powder. He's a pimp. He just puts baby powder on his hand. He pimp slaps people. That's a great. He says like bitch and motherfucker every second word. And his assistant baby wife is like, hey, you know, that's not holy. Don't say bitches all the time. And then he's like, you gotta call them employers. Or he's like, what are you talking about, man? I'm calling them bitches. They're bitches, man. I'm saying motherfucker. I don't care if it's not in the Bible, man. Come on, man. And then there's like that whole tangent he goes on where he's like, my great grandfather was a pimp. My great 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 grandfather was a pimp. He's like, I come from a long line of pimps. He's like, you're just an assistant pimp. Everyone in your bloodline was an assistant pimp. So that stuff was great. And then like when the credits roll, Baby Powder is teaching pimpology. I think maybe it's Pimpology 101, but he becomes like a pimp professor. I mean, that's great. Like, good for him. You know, it's like, I mean, he's probably still pimping as well. So, I mean, he's got this nice tenured position at Harvard University teaching pimpology. He's getting like hella guap from that. And then, you know, he's probably still pimping too. So it's like, stuff really worked out for Baby Powder, which is good because it was kind of shaky there for a sec when the one guy just totally beat his ass, like the kind of nerdier guy, just completely, like he beat him up and then he stole, you know, his women. Like it was not looking good for Baby Powder in that instance, but you know, now he's got a good, you know, cushy gig at Harvard teaching pimpology, helping the community, helping the youths. So yeah, I'm glad everything worked out for Baby Powder, because for a second there I was like, man, like I don't know if Baby Powder can come back from this. Like it's looking rough, but yeah, he turned it around. He had he had the best comeback. Probably of 2001. So there you go. Basically, last point here. So the antagonists in this movie, I thought they were perfect. The Dean was great. Bart was great. Um, they were just like polar opposites to Jamal and Silas, and they just, I don't know, like the casting with those guys was perfect. Like Bart, he just had that look. I know I always say this with movies, like I gotta say, like I bet the actor is a really nice guy, but that he just had that dick look. Like he just looked like an asshole. And then the Dean, he just had that like uptight, prim and proper, judgmental look. Like the casting was great. They had the look. Like they just, like the actors in those roles, they did fantastic. And yeah, they were just like, the juxtaposition to, Silas and Jamal. Like they were just perfect, and they were like super hateable, and it's like, yeah, like I said, like it was just, I feel like the characters in this movie worked. Like the leads were super likable. They were kind of like underdogs. It was like a fish out of water situation. I was just rooting for them, and like the antagonists, the assholes in this movie were just assholes to the extreme, and they were just like I said, just perfectly casted. Their acting was perfect. They killed it. So yeah, like the whole dynamic in this movie was great between the characters, and it's like a stoner movie, so there's not a lot of story, but I did like the whole premise, like the fish out of water premise. You got two slacker stoners going to Harvard, and they're not like prim and proper. They're with all these like super uptight people, and then they smoke their dead friend, and he comes to them in the form of a ghost, and gives them the answers. I mean, that's some creative stuff right there. So yeah, in terms of a recommendation, this movie's a classic. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. I think most people will like it. You don't have to like be a smoker or anything to enjoy it. I think it's just a solid comedy. So yeah, definitely check this out if you haven't seen it. So yeah, that's my recommendation, and that has been my review. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.